Welcome to Proven and Probable. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson. Today we have an exciting interview as we're going to discuss the U.S. financial pandemic. We're going to find out if resource stocks will outperform general equities. And finally, are precious metals on sale? Find out in this exclusive interview with the Mercenary Geologist, Mickey Fulp. But before we begin, make sure you click the like button, click subscribe, and click the bell.
Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we deliver mining insights and bullion sales in the form of physical delivery, offshore depositories, and private blockchain distributed ledger technology.
Thank you for joining us on Proven and Probable. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson, and joining us for a conversation is Mickey Fulp, the world-renowned mercenary geologist. Mr. Fulp, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me, Maurice.
Absolute delight to have you on the program, sir. I want to speak to you today about the mainstream financial news networks and the narratives that they're pushing on both sides of the aisle, respectively. And of course, depending on the news program, the blame is always cast on the political adversaries, and never, to anyone's surprise, are they accepting blame for championing and implementing policies that have created the U.S. financial pandemic that it just seems to be skipping over most people's radar as we're all focusing our efforts right now on COVID-19. When you look at the U.S. financial pandemic, just how bad is the U.S. economy, and did it begin with COVID-19?
Well, there were certainly financial stresses prior to spawning of this flu bug in Wuhan, China. Long-lived frothy stock markets that were overdue for a correction, burgeoning trade and budget deficits, and I think most importantly, American outsourcing and our dependence on China for fundamental supply chains. But there's little doubt in my mind that this economy was booming, despite some underlying structural weaknesses. And the collapse, in my opinion, was totally due to draconian government overreaction in response to a media crisis. So no doubt this is a very bad, deadly flu for the elderly and the unhealthy, which would include people that are morbidly obese, diabetics, smokers, those with cardiovascular disease, other immune system disorders, and especially so for people living in communal conditions. But I think it's nothing more than that. I mean, look at the facts. 50% of deaths have occurred in nursing homes. And if you add people who are over 65 who are not imprisoned in nursing homes, it's up to 75%. I can give an example in New Mexico. 65% of the deaths in New Mexico, which are now over 200, are on the Navajo reservation, where all of the above conditions that I listed above exist. So my question is, why was the entire state quarantined and creating an economic collapse? And I think it's really nanny state protectionism that has morphed into controlism, and it really has progressed, in my opinion, to socio-fascism.
If the U.S. financial pandemic didn't begin with COVID-19, does it end with COVID-19?
Well, I think it really did begin with COVID-19, given some underlying conditions, which was a stock market way overdue for correction and budget and trade deficits, but certainly won't end there. And the reason is government actions have wrought major economic damage and, in my opinion, have forever changed our country. We have unemployment now at Depression-era levels. Small business is devastated, and exponential increases in the money supply as tax receipts exponentially decrease. So it's going to take we will never recover from this. I saw something the other day. Mark Cuban refers to what's coming as America 2.0, and I don't welcome that.
When you watch the mainstream media channels, what are some of the propagandas that they seem to be pushing from both sides of the aisle that have you just shaking your head in disbelief?
Well, think about it. Does it seem too good to you? What's coming? What has been done? Well, this country will never be the same. Sad but true. That the Wuhan flu is causing the economic collapse. It's, in fact, government officials, many unelected deep state bureaucrats at all levels, locking down a country with blatantly illegal and unconstitutional fiat orders without legislative input. And that's what's caused the collapse, in my opinion.
A prime example of failing economic policy is the unprecedented inflation of our currency by both parties. What type of impact do you see this having on the general equities short term and then longer term?
Well, some major corporate equities will do well in nominal dollar terms, and a lot will go bankrupt. The rapid inflation of U.S. money supply will cancel in real dollar terms many of the gains from the corporate entities, and a lot of those are listed on NASDAQ. I mean, NASDAQ is up 4% this year. But my main concern would be small business, entrepreneurial ventures. And that's what really drives growth in our country, and especially mom and pop storefronts. A great majority of these businesses will never open, and the jobs that are associated with those, mainly service jobs, are gone forever. It just seems wrong that these lockdowns have punished small business while allowing the big box corporations to stay open and prosper, like Walmart and Home Depot. Meanwhile, your neighborhood corner stores, churches, bookstores, gun dealers, whatnot, are shut down, while booze and pot stores are deemed essential. That seems wrong to me. And I actually think a lot of this has been driven by a political agenda.
Germane to equities, let's shift the focus on a space that you and I love to speculate in, and those are resource stocks. Is this the right time to be in the space?
Well, I think so. This is an opportune time to speculate in resource stocks, and we've seen, when things start to emerge from a collapse like this, and we saw it in 2008 and early 2009, the first thing that goes up is gold, and if it progresses, then gold stocks follow quite soon after that.
Do you favor the miners in the current environment or junior miners?
Well, I don't favor miners. I think mining is a really tough business. So my bailiwick is the junior explorers, oftentimes referred to as junior miners, but about 1 in 10 will ever mine anything. Most of them just mine the stock market. That said, certainly the gold miners have done well and should continue to do very well with high prices for gold and very low energy costs. Even though oil has rallied, it's still at $34 a barrel now. But we should also look at the juniors. Toronto Venture Exchange Index is up 60% from its low in mid-March. That's phenomenal. I watch every day. I watch the value of my junior Explorer portfolio increase day after day. And, I think I was up 37% in the month of April, and I expect to be up even more than that in the month.
Are there any that have your attention at the moment, and why?
Well, I'm looking at gold companies, gold explorers. I'm looking at copper explorers and developers. A company that I currently cover and covered since, actually for 3 years now. We picked it at 65 cents. It closed on Friday, today being a holiday, at $1.90. It's been as high as $3.14. It has catalysts coming. That'd be Trilogy Metals Inc., TMQ, on the New York American board. Also picked up another copper company the other day that was at or near its 4-year low. So I think right now what people should try to do, a lot of things have gone up, a lot of stocks have popped, especially in the gold explorer space. But there's a few that haven't, and there's a few copper companies that haven't. So being a contrarian, I like to go in and look at stocks that have lagged, because I think what's coming is going to be good for the resource sector. Especially in gold and copper. So be a contrarian. Try to find things that are undervalued and buy them when they're unloved and unknown and unwanted and undervalued.
There's another company that you and I both like, and that is Hannon Metals. Talk to us about Hannon Metals.
Well, Hannon Metals, which I am a very early shareholder. I participated in the pre-RTO financings, an exploration play in the Cordillera Oriental, going into the Amazon basin in eastern Peru, northeastern Peru. They're looking for giant sediment-hosted copper deposits. It's frontier, it's grassroots, it's early days, but being a very early on shareholder of that company, I watched it progress from a failed zinc project in Ireland, and once that was not going to make it, they quickly shifted focus to this copper play in Peru, and that's HAN on the Venture Exchange, and I remain a dedicated shareholder of that company.
Germane to buying opportunities, let's shift the focus now onto physical precious metals. Mickey, why do you own precious metals?
Well, I own gold mainly, and it's a hedge and insurance policy against financial mismanagement, which we've seen a lot of right now, and Pelosi wants to put another $2 or $3 trillion into that financial mismanagement. Geopolitical calamity is also reason to own gold, and economic collapse. And so I think, as I think you and I agree, gold is real money. Silver and platinum are superfluous holdings for me. I have some, but really I have them because they make pretty coins and they're fungible. And at some point, I fully expect to convert a bunch of my silver into gold when the ratio normalizes a bit.
Which metals are you buying right now, and why?
Yeah, well, the outlook for gold, of course, is bullish with all this money printing, and there's lots of reasons to think gold's going to go up. It's consolidating right now in the low to mid 1700 range. Silver is very undervalued right now, with the gold silver ratio still greater than 100. So you can argue that silver is a very good buy right now, as in platinum compared to gold. So with the idea that you buy what's undervalued, and when ratios and valuations tend to normalize, then you sell your silver and platinum and turn it into gold. And for the life of me, I have no idea why anybody would be buying palladium. It's not shiny and beautiful the way that platinum is. It's not a part of. It's not called white gold, which platinum jewelry is called white gold. So. And it's completely overvalued. It went exponential. It's come back. Right now its high this year was $2,754, and as we speak today, it's $1,920. But historically, it trades at about a third of what palladium or what platinum does, and now it's trading for more than double what platinum does. So it makes no sense for anybody to buy palladium. And because its prices increased so much back in the day, say a decade or so ago, The Chinese, poor Chinese people would buy it for jewelry because they couldn't afford gold or platinum, and that's not the case now. So only 5% of it is demand is used for coinage and jewelry, as opposed to 40% for both platinum and silver.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but I get this question asked all the time. Maurice, do you buy and sell physical precious metals? The answer is yes. Check the description box below for contact details. And now, back to the interview. In closing, sir, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, I'm a pretty private person. I'm not sure why I'd tell a bunch of people who I don't know something like that, Maurice.
Mr. Fulp, last question. What did I forget to ask?
I don't rightly know. Why don't you think about it and then ask me next time, Maurice? I'm joking around with you here. But I would like to say on Memorial Day today, let's remember those who gave our lives defending the freedoms that the deep state socio-fascists are now trying to take away from us.
Mickey, for someone listening, where can they find your work?
Twitter at Mercenary Geo with 51,200 followers, and my newsletter, mercenarygeologist.com, with over 7,500 subscribers. And this interview will be up as soon as you release it to me on my website and on Twitter.
And as a reminder, I'm a licensed representative through Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments, where we have a number of options to expand your precious metals portfolio, from physical delivery, offshore depositories, and precious metal IRAs. Call me at 855-505-1900, or you may email maurice@milesfranklin.com. Finally, please subscribe to Proven and Probable, where we provide mining insights and bullion sales. Subscription is free.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.